Welcome. We are here on Real Estate in the Lowcountry. With me now is Sheri Nixon, and she is, of course, with Keller Williams. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah. How are you today?
I am great, and you look awesome as
Thank
usual.
you. So do you.
Yes.
Love your top. Beautiful
Thank
color
you.
on you.
Thank you.
So now that we've gone through our fashion, let's jump into today's topic, which is something we've talked about, but it's been a while since we've touched on this. And I think it's really important that you have a lot of people out there that are looky-loos. They love to get on Zillow or wherever they want to go, find their favorites, and they think they've got it all under control, but that may not be the case.
Right. Well, I know. And it seems like real estate's in the news more than ever, as we know. I mean, it's always on the national news. And there's so many places now online where they can look themselves. They can go to Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com. And even if they're years out, they've set themselves up with a few parameters and they're seeing their perfect thing. And then they'll call and they'll have found, this is my perfect houses. And there's so many things they don't know about.
Right. So what are some of those things? Because before we started filming, you mentioned a few things, some hidden fees here and there, and if it's a villa, and if it's so tell us, let's go into some detail there.
Well, I feel that they really should call a realtor, and all towns are different and have their nuances. So really this applies to everywhere. You should call a realtor, someone who really knows what's happening and these different fees and all of that. So when you call us, we will ask you questions, because the worst thing is someone will call and they'll have that list, like I said, and then it's all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't play golf. I don't need a country club. And they're like, well, these houses you've all chosen are in communities with golf course fees. You have to belong to the country club. And so sometimes it's a big letdown. And let's say you're 3 years out and you've been looking for 3 years, and then you're like, oh, I'm so disappointed.
I did this all wrong.
Right. So really, even if you're years out, we can save you some time and disappointment when we just talk through the fees. Do you golf? Sometimes people really want a golf community, and then they find out there is no golf in that area. So that can go that way too. And then a thing about villas. So some people call them condos, we call them villas. And so they have the HOA fees, the regime fees, we call them. And they may see one and they've narrowed it down to these because it's $300 a month. Well, they don't realize that that villa doesn't have the insurance that's included. They have to pay it separate for another $300 a month. So there may be one villa complex that says regime fee $600 and another $300. Well, they may be just the same.
Right.
So you really have to talk through those things too.
Yeah. And you mentioned too before we started filming, if they have a pet, there are some villas that are very strict about what kind of a pet, how big a pet, all those things.
That's a big heartbreaker for people because there are so many villa complexes that don't allow pets. Now, that's one of the things when we set someone up on an automatic drip, we can't search even ourselves and say, only show them the ones with pets. So we have to know them and we have to have that conversation. So even our automatic drips, you're still going to have that conversation with us about which ones do allow pets. Some allow pets for the owners, but don't allow for their renters. Right. And so rentals is another subject. Some people think they really are wanting to buy this second home, but they want to rent it out. And then they find out, well, that community doesn't even allow short-term rentals.
Well, and that ordinance has just changed, especially on the island, where you now have to have a business license, and there's other things along with that. It's not quite maybe as cookie cutter as they think it is.
Right. So it's easy to think that you can search and find it all yourself. And my point is, I just feel that the sooner you talk to a realtor, the better. Because sometimes people think, I don't want to bother someone yet. Who knows when I'm going to move here? Who knows if I'm going to move to this town or Myrtle Beach or Charleston? Still, you might as well speak with the realtors and get some real advice.
Right, because then once you've set them up on a custom search, I mean, that's automatic for you too.
Right.
And so then they can just, when they do see that one thing, oh, okay, now I can call.
Right. And we can see what they're looking at, and we can see and have a conversation. Now, obviously, if they're years down the road, we can set them up on a parameter where it just shows up maybe once a month or something, where once a week, whatever, where it's going to pop up and show the new listings. Perfect. It doesn't have to show up every day. Yeah. But if someone's really, like they're hot and searching, then it could show up every time a price changes, every time a new property comes on. So we can set different parameters.
Okay, I love that because I think people are going to want information at different stages.
Right.
Perfect. So how does somebody get to you if they want to start the conversation?
They give us a call, and usually Shannon sometimes makes that initial call, or I will, and we will have that good conversation, and they can call us, email us, whatever they need to do, and we're happy to have it.
Well, excellent, Sheri. Thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.